Before we get into this latest story, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already.
Mingling with Colombia's killers. You know, I'm a paraco now. That's what a 25-year-old acquaintance, let's call him Juan, not his real name, told me when I was reunited with him in March of this year in Santandercito, the barrio in the far north of Bogotá in which I normally reside whenever I'm in Colombia's capital. Juan offered this information to me after I told him that I'd just spent the last few months in San Martin in the Meta department, an area said to be largely controlled by paracos. These paracos, Colombia's paramilitaries, originally came into being in the 1960s as a counterpoint to the guerrillas. Both groups can trace their origins to left versus right political ideologies, nominally at least. But today they're all just effectively gangland criminals vying to control the cocaine trade and other illegal activities. Just over 8 weeks after Juan, whom I'd known since 2016 when he was a happy-go-lucky teenager, told me of his employment, he was shot dead. It was a planned hit. Loved ones left behind include an inconsolable mother, a shattered stepfather, and heartbroken brothers, people with whom I have shared many enjoyable moments in Santandercito over the last 10 years. Neither Juan's telling me that he was a paraco nor his tragic demise surprised me much, however. I'd known for the last few years that he was involved in dodgy dealings of some sort. In fact, he and another young man and friend of sorts of mine from the barrio, a guy I'll call Jose, again not his real name, were sent away for a few months to a paraco training camp in the Antioquia department some time back. So the story goes. I did ask both of them, separately, to divulge a little more information about this camp, but it was never forthcoming. Although Jose didn't completely rule out doing so. I stopped asking after a while, though. On their return to Barrio Santandercito, I noticed Juan's behaviour change. A harder, meaner edge came to replace the cheerfulness he had previously displayed in abundance. Jose, in contrast, has remained largely easygoing. He is that way towards me, anyway. Juan began to give off an air of invincibility. The way he strutted around the barrio was as if he thought he were a feared mafia boss. Now, a paraco he may have been, but he was no more than a pawn for greater powers. He was certainly no capo de capi, that much is now clear. In a journal entry the day after Juan told me of his paraco status, I noted that ill winds could soon be blowing his way owing to his cocky behaviour. Only those truly in control could get away with such posturing, but even the bigwigs are brought back down to size at some stage. Those ill winds did blow Juan's way, and with fatal force. Jose was with Juan on the night he was shot dead, Friday the 29th of May, on a footpath on Calle 188 with Carreras 16 in the Verbinal barrio of Bogotá, just a few blocks away from Santandercito. Jose wasn't harmed, not physically anyway. On the day of Juan's burial, I was told by a somewhat reliable source in Santandercito that both Juan and Jose were the ones sent to kill another acquaintance of mine in this part of Bogotá, the affable Mauricio, a man who ran a number of tienda bars in Verbinal. Mauricio was murdered in April 2025. His crime, so it goes, was to sell cocaine, which he got from his own sources. That is to say, he didn't get his white powder from the gang that is said to control the underworld in the greater Verbinal area. My Santandercito source told me that Juan, recognised as a talented motorbike operator, rode the bike used to take Jose to Mauricio. Jose, as the better marksman, fired the weapon. That's the conjecture doing the rounds in the barrio. We'll probably never know for sure. And it's something I'm not too keen to ask Jose about, not directly anyway. Over the last few years, I had heard that Jose regularly got on the wrong side of some of his superiors. At one stage, he was apparently forbidden from entering Santandercito. If somebody had said to me 2 years ago that just one of either Juan or Jose would be soon gunned down, I would have thought that Jose would face that fate. although, as I mentioned, Juan's behaviour in recent months would have led me to change my thinking. Seeing as how Jose was with Juan on the night of his murder, in a location seen as close to ideal to carry out such a hit, there is speculation that Jose had some part to play in it, that he sold out his partner in crime to protect himself. Again, it's all hearsay. The chances of us ever finding out exactly what happened on the night Juan was gunned down are slim. It's unlikely there'll be any thorough investigation carried out. The general approach by Colombia's authorities when it comes to gangland murders is that as long as they're killing each other, then it's not a major concern. That's how it appears anyway. Let them knock themselves out. The old adage that crime doesn't pay was certainly the case for Juan. The ones who do make big bucks out of criminality in Colombia tend not to get their hands bloodied and are fairly well protected. The paraco pawns, on the other hand, are very much dispensable.
Have you subscribed to this channel yet? If not, why not do so right now? It's free and only takes a second. Thanks!